Be honest with me for a moment. You know English grammar. You've studied tenses. You know conditionals. You understand articles. You can read English. You can listen to English. You might even understand movies, podcasts, or YouTube videos without subtitles. But when you speak, you still sound intermediate. Your sentences are correct, but something feels missing. You pause a lot, you hesitate, you search for words, you feel nervous, you don't sound natural. And you might be thinking, what is wrong with my English? Why am I not fluent yet? I've studied for years. If this sounds like you, this video is for you. Because today I'm going to explain exactly why you still sound intermediate, even if your grammar is good. And I want you to hear this clearly. This is not because you're bad at English. This is not because you're not smart, and this is not because you need more grammar. You sound intermediate because of fluency blockers. And once you understand them, you can start removing them. Let's begin. First, let's be very clear about one thing. Grammar and fluency are not the same skill. Grammar is knowledge, fluency is performance. Grammar lives in your head, fluency lives in your mouth. You can know English and still not use English well. And this is where many intermediate learners get stuck. They keep studying more grammar, hoping fluency will appear. But fluency doesn't appear. It's trained. So let's talk about the real reasons you still sound intermediate. Fluency blocker number 1. Translating in your head. The first and biggest fluency blocker is translation. Most intermediate learners do this when they speak. First, you think in your first language. Then you translate into English. Then you check the grammar. Then you speak. This entire process happens in seconds, but it's still too slow. An English conversation is fast. While you are translating, the moment is already gone. The other person is waiting. The conversation moves forward, and you feel pressure. So you hesitate. You pause. You sound unsure. Here's the key problem. Fluent speakers do not translate. They don't think first, then speak. They think in English. Let me give you an example. A fluent speaker doesn't think, what is the correct past form for go? They don't think, okay, subject, verb, object. They simply say, I went, automatically. No thinking, no translating, no checking. And this is the difference. Fluency is not about creating sentences. Fluency is about retrieving sentences. You don't build English, you access English. If you're still translating, you will always sound intermediate because translation is slow and fluency is fast. If you want to sound fluent, you must stop translating full sentences. This doesn't mean you will never think in your first language. That's normal. But your goal is this. Think less, retrieve more. Automatic English sounds fluent. Translated English sounds careful. And careful English sounds intermediate. Fluency blocker number 2. Overthinking every sentence. The second fluency blocker is overthinking. This is very common for smart learners. You want to say the best sentence, the perfect sentence, the most correct sentence. So before you speak, you ask yourself, is this grammar correct? Is this the right word? Is this too simple? Is this formal enough? And while you're thinking, the conversation moves on. The moment is gone. You might know the answer, but you say it too late. Or you don't say it at all. And this creates a very specific speaking style. Your English sounds slow. It sounds careful. It sounds controlled. This is not how fluent speakers speak. Fluent speakers do not search for perfect sentences. They choose good enough sentences. They speak comfortably, not perfectly. Here's a very important sentence. Please listen carefully. Fluency is confidence plus speed, not perfection. When you overthink, you lose speed. And when you lose speed, you lose fluency. Let's be honest. Native speakers make mistakes all the time. They change sentences in the middle. They repeat words. They correct themselves. They use simple grammar. But they sound fluent because they keep moving forward. They don't stop the conversation to fix grammar. Intermediate learners often do the opposite. They stop speaking to fix English. And that stop is what breaks fluency. Fluency blocker number 3, fear of making mistakes. The third fluency blocker is fear. This one is emotional, not technical. Fear of sounding stupid, fear of being judged, fear of making grammar mistakes, fear of having an accent. So what happens? You play it safe. You use simple words. You avoid long sentences. You speak less. You stay quiet. And this feels safe, but safety kills fluency. Let me say that again. Safety kills fluency. When you are afraid, your brain focuses on protection, not communication. You don't think, how can I express this clearly? You think, how can I avoid mistakes? And avoiding mistakes is not the goal of language. Communication is the goal. Here is a hard truth. Mistakes do not make you sound weak. Silence does. Pausing too long, not responding, avoiding conversation, that is what stops fluency growth. Every fluent speaker you admire made thousands of mistakes. They didn't become fluent by avoiding mistakes. They became fluent by speaking through mistakes. Let me reframe this for you. Mistakes are not proof that you are bad at English. Mistakes are proof that you are using English. And using English is the only way to become fluent. Fluency blocker number 4, slow word retrieval. The fourth fluency blocker is slow retrieval. This is very important. Many learners say, I don't know enough vocabulary, but that is often not true. You do know the word. You've seen it, you've studied it, you understand it when you hear it, but you can't access it quickly when speaking. So what happens? You pause, you say or you replace it with a basic word, or you stop speaking completely. For example, instead of saying, I was completely exhausted, you say, I was very tired. And that's not wrong. But when this happens again and again, your English sounds limited. This is not a vocabulary problem. This is a retrieval problem. You studied the word, but you didn't train it for speaking. Here's the difference. Studying vocabulary builds recognition. Practicing speaking builds retrieval. Fluency depends on retrieval speed. Not how many words you know, but how fast you can access them. This is why some learners know many words, but still sound basic. Their vocabulary lives in their notebook, not in their mouth. So what actually creates fluency? Now that you understand the blockers, let's talk about the solution. Fluency comes from training the right skills. Not more grammar rules, not more memorization. Here's what actually creates fluency. Thinking in English, little by little. You don't need to think in English all the time, but you should train short moments of English thinking. Simple things. What do I need? What am I doing? How do I feel? These small moments reduce translation. Less translation means more speed, using chunked language. Fluent speakers don't speak word by word. They speak in chunks. For example, to be honest, the thing is, what I mean is, it depends. These phrases come out automatically. If you speak in chunks, you sound more fluent instantly. Speaking before you feel ready. You will never feel fully ready. Fluency grows after you speak, not before. Confidence follows action, not the other way around. Practicing retrieval, not memorization. Stop only reading vocabulary. Start using it. Say it out loud. Repeat it in sentences. Recall it without notes. This trains speed, and speed creates fluency. Let me say this clearly. Grammar helps. Vocabulary helps. But grammar and vocabulary alone will never make you fluent. Fluency is a skill, and skills are trained, not studied. If you feel stuck, this is why. You're not broken, you're not bad at English, you're not failing, you're just training the wrong thing. Once you change your focus from knowing English to using English, everything changes. Now I want to hear from you. This is important. Please comment below. What is your biggest fear when speaking English? Is it making mistakes? Is it forgetting words? Is it speaking too slowly? Is it your accent? Write it in the comments. I read them and I use them to create future lessons for you. You are closer to fluency than you think. You don't need to start again. You just need to train differently, and we can fix that. If you've enjoyed this, please hit the thumbs up and subscribe to see our future content on English fluency.